Okay, so Grank, it is currently dusk. The sun is setting. All of your fellow kobolds within your community are waking up and going outside for the night. The moon is brightly shining with its tiny blue sister moon, just sort of gleefully following it along, and you can see the tiny sister moon just kind of wobble in the sky. You are in your home, Dracopolis, the kingdom of dragons. You are here with your kobold brethren, living a relatively peaceful society, thanks in no small part to the fact that you are the only race in this universe that has mastered the art of training and riding dragons. Your dragon is currently leashed up outside in your backyard. You have a medium-sized wooden home, and it's a very large, sprawling city with thousands upon thousands of people. Where do you go first?
So first thing I would do is, of course, go outside, untie Reginald, my gold dragon, and I'll speak to him Draconic and be like, "Hello, Reginald friend. It's me, Grank. How is friend?"
Oh, you know me. Just another day in paradise. And he cricks his neck. And you can see that he's, even though he just woke up, he's moving a lot more sluggishly than he normally does. And you can hear his joints kind of like snap, crackle, and pop as he gets up and stretches.
I will say, what wrong with friend Reginald?
I don't know. There's something wrong with my joints. I wonder if any of the other dragons are experiencing this, because this is awful.
Can I use my monk, quote unquote, powers to try and like give him a full body massage?
Yeah, I would say that you're close enough to your dragon that you know the ins and outs of their how their muscles work. I'm not sure what. I think that would be a medicine check. Roll medicine for me.
Okay. 18.
It takes quite a few minutes to like really get in deep because you've got tiny kobold hands and it's a dragon with really tough scaly hide. But you manage to get in between the scales and work out some of the knots, and he's a lot more flexible than he was before. He's still got a crick here and there, but you did a swell job, and he's up and moving, whereas before he was just kind of sluggishly waddling around.
Okay. And I'll say, how is friend Reginald now?
Much better, much better. I suppose we should check on everybody else before we do anything else.
Yes, I think that'd be good.
As you walk outside your home and into the street, you can see that the people who are normally like setting up their shops and going about their business are all sort of piling right back into their homes where they came. And your friend and neighbor Ronk looks particularly concerned as he starts dashing into his backyard.
I'll call wrong. What wrong?
Ah, Grank, you have to help me. There's something wrong with my dragon.
I will follow.
You follow Rank to his backyard where he's got his female dragon. It is a excuse me. What color dragon do you have?
Gold. Gold.
So both you and Ronk got your dragons at the same time, and you both agreed to get gold dragons. And he is currently trying to massage his gold dragon, which you know to be Gira. And he looks very concerned. In fact, he's sweating slightly.
I will run up and say, what is wrong with friend Gira? Of course, saying it in Draconic.
I don't know. Gira isn't moving. She's not speaking. I don't know what's wrong. Her joints are all stiff and her muscles are tense.
I'll say, same thing happened with Reginald, and I'll try my best to give her a massage as well.
All right, make a medicine check.
21.
Even though you're confident that your massage is deeper and more thorough than it was with your own pet, with Reginald, you notice a substantially less significant result despite a better performance. Like, the dragon is able to kind of move now, but not much more than shamble. And you can hear this awful, like, popping and cracking noise in the joints every time Gira moves her joints.
Have my people ever encountered this before, or has there ever been a history of stuff like this before?
Make a history check.
Nat 20.
Yes, you have heard of a contagious dragon plague called draconic arthritis. It is a disease of the joints caused by some sort of unknown cause. It happened about 30 years ago, and it just kind of went away over time, and no one could ever figure out the cause. There were accusations leveled left and right about magic and disease and curses, but it was never found out.
Okay. Was anyone ever able to find like a something that could like relieve some of the symptoms?
The only thing that seemed to help, based on what you remember from the event, is returning dragons to like their elemental, like returning a metallic dragon to like a layer of said metal, like for example, I believe blue dragons are lightning based, right?
Yes.
So, like, having a blue dragon fly through a thunderstorm seemed to revitalize it. Having a gold dragon, sit on a pile of gold coins in some sort of layer, like, returning them to their natural element seemed to alleviate the cause. But no one could ever figure out the original, like, patient zero cause.
Okay. I'm going to think to myself. Grank will think to himself for a moment, and then he's going to pull out his alchemist supplies and start just like adding things here, adding things there, trying to see if he can't figure out a way to at least try and make something to at least alleviate some of what's happening. And then, of course, like every time he like thinks he gets it, he's gonna like test it a little bit on her, and just if it doesn't work, he throws that one away and starts working again.
Do you have proficiency in alchemy?
Yes, I do.
All right. I would like you to make an Arcana check using your alchemist tools to try and conjure up some sort of salve or medicine to alleviate your dragon symptoms.
I can spell Arcana, right? A dirty 20.
All right. You have lead in your alchemy kit because it's the cheapest thing to buy, and as a expert alchemist, you can change that into almost any other metal. And you work your magic. You heat the metal. You say your enchantments, and you turn it into sort of this. It's almost like a mixture of molten gold and aloe vera, and it gets really deep into gold dragon skin under the scales and really does some good, whereas normal aloe could not penetrate their hide.
Okay. And as I look at her, as I apply this, I'm guessing it's like an ointment.
Exactly.
Okay. So as I apply this to her, can I see her joints start to loosen up?
As you massage her joints with the ointment, her her joints noticeably loosen up, and she's able to actually walk. And as you're doing this, you can hear sort of like distressed chatter all throughout the village. And just based on a cursory, like, perception, with your passive perception, it seems like this is happening to everyone's dragon, whereas before it was only happening to a handful.
Okay. Grank will mutter to himself and just be like, Grank can't keep this up. Grank has to do something. He will think to himself, get a small idea. He'll run out and say, "Hey, Grank has idea," and he'll say what he just did for a female gold dragon, and he'll say, I might be able to help a little bit, not much though. We need to find cause and try and stop that first. But this is, I guess you could say, plan A until we can do that.
Of course, that's such a great idea. And as he saw what you did with your alchemy kit, and he rushes inside to get his own kit, and you see him run, slow down to a jog, slow down to a walk, and come to a standstill. And you can hear his joints start to snap, crackle, and pop. And there's just this disgusting snapping sound from his knees, and he falls over paralyzed.
Oh. From my history check earlier, can I tell if it ever affected any kobolds?
30 years ago, when this plague hit, kobolds were never hurt. This is a substantially worse disease, and it seems to be able to hop from dragon to dragon rider. I would like you to make a Constitution saving throw, as you can feel your own joints starting to lock up.
Oh, God.
I would like you to take 1 level of exhaustion. You can still move. You seem to be the least affected, but you can hear people like groan and grunt and just as their bodies start to lock up around them.
Do I have any of the ointment left on me?
You have a small amount, barely enough for your own elbows and knees.
I will use that on myself.
You feel your joints kind of loosen up, at least enough to move, but you can feel your fingers become stiff and claw-like. It hurts to speak, and you just feel generally disoriented. And as you go about the town, you can see, men, women, children, the elderly, people are just falling over left and right. I'd like you to make a perception check.
It automatically did with advantage, but even the first roll would have been 16.
I'll accept it. So, you don't see anything, but somewhere in the distance you can hear someone chanting in Draconic. It sounds like a fellow kobold, but you don't recognize the incantation. It sounds like almost like a thieves' cant. It's like, toil, agony, stiffen, harden, break.
Using my 40 movement speed, I'm going to start dashing over there.
As you try to dash over there, you still have that level of exhaustion. You're still struggling to move, and you can see the glittering of metal beads, and you can hear them shaking and metal rolling against metal from within a dark alleyway.
I'm going to look down that alleyway. I'm going to yeet one of my darts at whatever's in the alleyway.
All right, so if you're going to yeet without getting closer, I would like you to roll with disadvantage, also due to the exhaustion. Disadvantage.
All right. So I'm guessing yeah, never mind. 11's hit.
An 11 does hit, and you can even hear a cry of agony going, "Ag!" And you can hear a small body hit the ground.
Did the chanting stop?
Yes, it did.
Do I feel my joints stop trying to break themselves?
Your condition stops degrading, but it doesn't get better. Do you go deeper into the alleyway and investigate?
Yes.
As you do, you can see a black kobold, a black-skinned kobold, except his entire body appears to be coated with some sort of gold ointment, and he's got a 1-quart jug on his hip. You hit him in the jugular with your dart, and he's bleeding profusely and coughing up blood. He appears to have prayer beads in his hands.
I would like to try and I'm going to yank the prayer beads away from him, and I would like to try and stabilize him so he doesn't die.
Alright, if you would like to stabilize him, make a medicine check. And as you grab the prayer beads, you feel the exhaustion wash away, and you feel your skin start to leak this, like, golden substance from your pores. With a 23, you're able to not only stabilize him, but determine that he is also leaking this golden substance from his pores. However, it stopped as soon as you took the beads away.
Yeah. So I'm going to hold on to the beads, and I'll be like, why are you hurting my friends and family?
Tiamat's order, Bahamut worshipping scum.
I'll say to him, but Tiamat is bad. Why worship that person?
That's what you think, but we're gonna bring her back, and there's nothing you can do about it.
And I'll say, but if Tiamat good, then why would Tiamat try and hurt people?
She's not trying to hurt any people. She's trying to hurt you, filthy worshippers of Bahamut.
But Bahamut wouldn't hurt you.
You lie! Tiamat says different.
Yes, because Bahamut and Tiamat don't get along. They are brother and sister does not like brother much. She was always jealous of me.
Enough of your lies! Long live Tiamat! And you can see him jam his claws into his throat and tear out his carotid artery.
I'm just gonna take a step back.
You can hear Reginald walking up behind you, and he's sort of passively observing the situation, almost confused, and he's like, I think the black kobolds are preparing an attack. We should investigate.
Yes, Grank thinks that would be best, but Grank also have to help town. And he, holds up the beads.
The town is suffering, but there's not enough beads for everyone.
Grank will sign just yes, you're right. And I would like to search his body to see if I can't find any clues or anything that might help me figure out where we can go.
Absolutely. Make an investigation check.
8.
The only thing you find in his pocket is a scrap of paper that appears to be a piece of a much larger script, but the rest of it appears to be gone. It looks almost too small to have any text on it.
Does it say anything?
At a passing glance, it appears to be completely blank.
And then I'll just I'm gonna hold it to the moonlight to see if it isn't like a $1 bill or it doesn't have like anything in it, you know.
As you hold it up to the moonlight, you can see a faint, tiny blue writing appear on the white parchment, and you can just barely make it out. But it appears to be almost like microfilm, and it's a map that is too hard to read at its current size.
Okay. Do I know of anyone in the town that would have the enlarge reduce spell?
You know of King Dragul has a court wizard, one of the highest level wizard in the entire kingdom at his side all the time. And although you aren't part of the royal guard, it's a public space that everyone can go into, like his court, and speak with him and his advisors.
Okay, then I will. Okay, so these beads, is it I can take off one and like attach it to something else, and they also start? Well, no. Okay, so I wouldn't know that. So I'm going to do a small test. I'm going to take off one of the beads, and I'm going to like affix it to the saddle that's on Reginald.
As you affix it to the saddle itself, nothing happens.
Okay. I know what I have to do, but I don't know how to. Is he wearing like anything on his neck, like collar or something? Or necklace for him?
He is wearing a harness with many straps on it, and the harness is specifically designed to curve around his spikes, and he has many, many spikes protruding from his head, neck, and shoulders.
Okay, then I would like to attach the bead to one of those to where it's touching his skin, or his scales.
You can very easily find a small spike or spine on his exposed flesh, and as soon as you impale the bead on that spike, you can see his entire body start to ooze slightly with that golden salve.
And as I do that, I'll say, how does friend feel?
Much better! I feel like a new man!
And I'll say, well, new dragon, but we need to hurry and we need to hurry and get to King and Wizard. We need help from Wizard.
Well, I suppose I can't let you walk there. It's a couple miles away. Hop on, friend.
I hop on, friend.
All right. So with a single flap of his massive wings, he launches himself into the air. 1 flap, 2 flap, 3 flaps. He's going at Mach speeds, just soaring across the landscape, punching through clouds. I'd like you to make a perception check as you're looking down at the kingdom.
All right. Well, it's night, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so the advantage would apply normally, since I'm not being affected by my sunlight sensitivity.
That is correct, sir.
Which is good, because I got 19.
As your dragon is punching through the clouds and soaring overhead, anytime you break from the clouds, you get an excellent view of the city, and your natural night vision is absolutely stellar in the moonlight, and you can see the entire city that you are in is on the ground, rolling around or completely still. Everybody, for as far as the eye can see, appears to be in agony.
As I see this, I will say, Reginald, we have to go faster.
With a single beat of his wings, he goes from Mach 1 to Mach 2 and just cruises across the landscape, getting to the castle in under a minute. You see him slowly flap his wings to slow himself down and slow to a stop in front of the bronze castle that is Dragul's castle.
As we arrive, I'm going to hop off and I'm going to dash into the courtroom and first, of course, see what the state of everything is, and then go for the wizard.
You can see the wizard is in his alchemical laboratory, as he typically is. You can see he's surrounded by kobold staff members, all of which are on the ground, either trembling, writhing, or completely still. He, however, is moving, and moving rather quickly. And you can see the king is on his operating table, and he's casting lesser restoration over and over again, trying to keep the king alive. He rushes over to try to heal the aides, but as soon as he heals one person, the others fall sick, and he is sweating, zipping across the room, struggling to keep up with the needs of the nobles.
I will quickly run up to him, take one of the beads, place it in his hand, just like, here, put this on King. It might help.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I'll take your word for it, because I don't have time to play around. And he just puts the bead in the king's hand, and you can see the king cough up like what seems like far too much dust, and his joints kind of crackle, and he's able to sit up again. And you can almost hear, it's almost like sand is in his joints that grinds every time he moves.
And I'll say, I don't know what's happening. It happening everywhere. And I'll explain the little encounter I had in the alley. And once I get to the part about the map, and I'll say, I need you to cast a spell on map so we can see the map.
As you talk to the court wizard, he sort of he takes the tiny scrap of paper and he starts to wave his hands. The map starts to glow, and he's like, "This map doesn't need to be enlarged. A spell needs to be broken." And you can see blue magical chains sort of appear as he waves his hand over the map. The chains break one by one, and the tiny scrap of paper blows up to about a 4-foot long scroll, and it is a full map of the kingdom with X's all around town, and there is a circle drawn around the abandoned golden castle of the dead king.
And was the alley that I was in where I encountered that one kobold one of those X's?
Yes, it was. And there's about 20 X's in total scattered across the map. It would take hours to get to each location.
Yes. So I'll point to the X where the alley was, and I'll be like, that's where I saw Guy. And I'll point to another X, and I'll say, there must be someone else here and here and here.
If you're willing to part with those beads, I can give them to the guards, and we can hit those locations and hit these bastards. But that would leave only 2 for you and your dragon.
I will say that's fine, and I'll leave 1 for myself and my dragon, and hand the rest to them.
You see the wizard is poring over the map looking for details, and he goes, he points at the circle, and he's like, I think this is their headquarters. I think this is where they're going to launch their attack. This is no ordinary map. This is a battle map.
I'll just nod in my head.
Everyone is suffering, and the guards are going to be busy attacking and arresting these rebels. Everyone is too preoccupied. It has to be you. You're our only hope.
I'll say, yes, but I have one small kobold. What can I do much?
He grabs you by the shoulders, looks you dead in the eyes. Sometimes the smallest among us can do the greatest of things. Now go, we don't have much time. The city is falling apart.
I'll just nod my head once and run out to Reginald, tell him the game plan and where we need to go.
I had a feeling it would come to this. I'm still a little stiff, but I'm ready for combat. Let's go, we don't have time.
Right, not wasting any time, we yeet off.
Alright, looking at the map, you have two different paths that you can take. You can fly low and try to avoid suspicion from anyone looking up by weaving through the mountains. It's relatively safe, there's a lot of places to hide, but it's going to take many times longer. The fastest route is just to fly over the mountains, straight to the castle at Mach 2, but you're going to leave yourself visible to anyone watching the skies.
True. We'll go through the mountains.
Alright, Reginald dives down low, weaving between the mountains, and he has to weave incredibly hard, just whoosh, 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 hard 90-degree turns, turning on a dime, and it is all you can do just to hang on. I'd like you to make an athletics check to hold on so you don't fly off and waste time.
16, even with a -2.
Alright, with both of your hands on the harness, your feet dangling behind your dragon, you are just barely able to hang on, your feet flapping in the wind as he's just whoosh, 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 whoosh. And as he's weaving through the mountains, make a perception check.
15.
You're able to hook your feet into the stirrups and steady yourself, and you can see into the distance. There appears to be some large object in the distance with a glimmering tip to it.
I can see an object with a glimmering tip.
It appears to be a large object, at least the size of a dragon, made out of wood. You can't make out its details, but you can see the shiny metallic glint of a metal tip.
Is that what we're flying to?
Yes, it's directly in the path. So you can either head right towards it or fly over the mountains, but you'd still be within sight of this hidden little pocket within the mountains. So you can attack it head on or try to fly up and try to just fly so high or so far away that you're not within its range.
I would like to fly over it, but still to where I can see it, so I can see what's happening with it.
Absolutely. So as you fly over it, you can clearly see that this is a siege engine of some description. It's a four-armed, huge crossbow, and you know this as an anti-dragon weapon. And as you fly over it, you can see the weapon, and the kobold piloting it can see you.
That's no good. How far away are we from it currently?
So you're currently flying about 150 feet in the air. This thing is about 50 feet off the ground in the middle of a mountain. And you can see him wheeling his heavy crossbow on its little swivel and trying to take aim at you as you fly over it. It looks like this black kobold is about to fire.
Well, at disadvantage, I'm going to try and throw a dart in hit him.
Absolutely.
12.
That is a hit, and that is gonna hurt. You see him grab the lever, pull it halfway back to fire, and you slam that dart into his hand, pinning it to the wood. He lets go, and as the lever pulls back, it pulls him back with it, and you appear to have pinned him to his instrument. It's gonna take precious seconds to pull the dart out of his hand, and by then, if you pull it into high gear, you will be miles gone.
I would actually like to have Reginald slide towards it, and I will throw another dart at him to try and pin his other hand to his hand.
All right. Well, Reginald is at your command, and he moves at insane speed, so you are wherever you want to be.
That's a nat 1, so that won't hit.
You throw your dart, and it gets caught in the wind and just sort of peters out and rams sideways into a random bird.
As I see the bird, I yell, "Sorry, birdie!"
The duck squawks angrily at you and flaps away.
How far away are we from the siege engine now?
Assuming you kept going forward at high speed, you're basically as far away as you want to be, unless you're asking Reginald to slow down.
No, I was having him fly towards the siege engine.
Because of his high speed, you can pretty much be wherever you want to be, because by the time this guy gets the dart out of his hand, precious seconds will have passed, so that's multiple actions.
Alright, so I'll say we're in about 30 feet away from him, so I want Reginald to use his fire. So the Kobold needs to make a DC 17 dexterity saving throw.
He can certainly try.
If not, it's going to be overkill, but I'm hoping it also deals a lot of damage.
17.
He'll take half damage. Points of fire damage.
Okay, so he had 2 HP remaining, so you deal 33 damage. Let's see, divide by 2, square root, exponent, carry the 1. He's dead.
Okay, how much damage did that do to the siege weapon, seeing as it can't make a saving throw?
Seeing as the siege weapon is made out of wood and you breathe fire, 33 points of fire damage on it, the thing is splinters and embers. It is obliterated.
Okay, perfect. I wanted to disable it, just in case. And now let's see if I can't get... let's see if I can't recharge the breath weapon. No.
Alright, do you investigate the area or do you keep flying?
I'll do a quick once-over, but I do have a mission I need to get to. So it'll just be a small little search.
From what you can tell with the quick search is this man is decked head to toe in Tiamat worshipping regalia. He's got like wooden prayer beads. He's got emblems sewn into his clothes. He's wearing the traditional red robes. And you can see sticking out of his pocket is a small piece of scrap paper that looks a lot like the scrap paper you found on the other kobold.
Alright, so as I find nothing new, I will get back on Reginald and fly off to where we need to go.
Do you fly high or fly low?
Seeing as we wasted time here, we'll fly high until we get a couple miles on the outskirts of where we need to go, then we'll fly low.
Alright, as you begin to near the Golden Castle, since you're flying high, you can see them and they can see you. you can see a squad of kobolds, about 6 of them, riding fairy dragons. You can see they are these pink, white, and violet, gorgeous creatures that do nothing but spread, light and healing. They make plants grow wherever they are. And you can see that they are covered in scars, missing eyes. Some of their legs are broken in. And they have chains around their necks. And they're being piloted by these black kobolds.
Let's see if I can get breath weapon. I get breath weapon. Okay, so I see this happening, and I just feel like really bad about these fairy dragons. So I can probably gather just by looking at them that they've been tortured.
Severely.
So, yeah.
So you have a couple of options. You can try to escape, you can obliterate them with your fire breath, or you can try to kill just the riders and save the dragons. What do you do?
I want to try and kill just the riders.
Alright, Reginald is much larger and much faster than these tortured fairy dragons, so you are currently within 60 feet of them as the enemy black kobolds start whirling their slings over their heads. Roll for initiative.
Uh, 22.
And 12. So you go first.
Alright. So, the first one that is with how many total are there again?
There's 6 and they're flying in a tight V formation.
Alright. So I'm, and they're all within 60 feet, correct?
Yes, sir.
Alright. So I will aim for the back left one with a dart. And I don't have to roll at disadvantage because they're within 60 feet. I think that's how it works. Right? That's what it says for range, so I would be attacking them all, right?
I'm sorry, what?
Would I be attacking normally if that right there's the range?
Your range is 20 and 60 at disadvantage, I believe. I could be mistaken.
Okay, so it would be at this.
Let me look up the darts characteristics really quick, just in case I'm wrong.
I don't think it matters because I still rolled a 19 at the lowest.
Splendid. So you throw a single dart at the one in the lead, I assume?
The one that was in the back left.
The one that was what?
In the back left.
In the back left. All right. So you hit him in the right in the solar plexus, like right in the diaphragm with the dart, taking away a good chunk of his hit points. He's gonna have to make a strength save to stay on his mount. One moment. And he falls off his fairy mount and plummets to his doom.
And since I am a monk, I get a second attack. So now I will go for the lead. Which is a 15.
That's a hit, and that is a kill shot. You hit him with the dart right between the eyes, pierce his brain, and he just tumbles off of his fairy dragon.
And as those two start falling down, I yell at the 2 fairy dragons that they were on in Draconic. I'll say, help me, and I help free friends and end evil rule.
I would like you to make a persuasion check with advantage to convince these tortured creatures to fight alongside you instead of just running away and running for the hills and never looking back.
Good thing I have a +0 to persuasion, which is good.
15 will do it. So the two fairy dragons will go on your turn. I'll give you their stats in just a nanosecond. All right. And does that end your turn?
Reginald would go on my turn, correct?
Yes, he would.
Ooh. Okay. He will turn around. Well, he's already facing them, and I will have him use his weakening breath. The dragon exhales gas in a 30-foot cone. Each creature in that area must succeed on a. Well, I'll have him fly within 30 feet, of course. Each creature in that area must succeed on a DC 17 strength saving throw or have disadvantage on strength-based attack rolls, strength checks, and strength saving throws for 1 minute. A creature can repeat those saving throws at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a success.
Okay, you said strength save, right?
Yes.
I got a 2, a 13, a 5, and a 17.
The 17 saves.
All right, and what happens on a failed save?
They have disadvantage on strength checks, strength saves, and strength-based attack rolls for a minute.
All right. You hit the kobolds. Only one of them is able to save. The other three fail. They are visibly weaker. The fairy dragons that you've hit automatically fail as they are exhausted and weak.
And I yell out, "Sorry, fairy. Sorry, fairy. I help you after that again." And I end my turn. Well, do the two fairy dragons I already got go ahead and go, or do you want to wait?
They will go on your next turn.
Okay.
All right, and so they have disadvantage on strength checks and saves, right?
And strength-based attacks, yes. So let's see. First, if I can't get that lovely breath weapon back, I do not. Okay, that happens.
All right, so the 4 kobolds are going to swing their slings and throw, but they have a range of 30 feet, so they do not roll with disadvantage because you moved up within that 30 feet range.
Correct. I mean, my AC is pretty good for a kobold.
I got a 12, a 6, a 13, and a 15.
My AC is 16.
So none of those hit? Nice.
Nope.
So as you're sailing through the skies, punching through clouds, the enemy black kobolds hurl their stones at you, but Reginald just tips a wing. You fall like a 45-degree angles at a 45-degree angle, and all 4 stones just whoosh, 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 just whiz by your head. You can feel the breeze on your face.
On that 15, I feel like it almost hits me if I just smack it out of the way.
Absolutely. All right, so let me just double check that they don't have any extra things they can do. They do not. So it is going to be your turn. You have yourself, a dragon, and 2 fairy dragons. What would you like to do?
I will make my 2 attacks on the center 2 kobolds. And I'm still rolling at disadvantage. How do you do the iterations again? It's RR 2D 2 space D20. that just seems too difficult, so I'm just going to type in dart. First one is 22.
All right, a 22 is definitely going to hit a Kobold's armor class. 6 damage. He's going to have to make a strength save to stay on his dragon with disadvantage because of that weakening spell.
Yes. Wait, how big is a fairy dragon? It's a tiny dragon.
They are very small, and these are very small kobolds.
Okay.
These fairy dragons can barely support the weight of these kobolds that are almost as big as they are. They are pretty miserable. But with a total of 4, he fails his saving throw. So you throw a dart, it hits him directly in the chest, going right between the ribs, and he just flies off the back of his dragon and tumbles to his doom.
All right, and then the next one comes for the other guy with a 13.
That's a hit. One moment.
Yeah, it feels good to be rolling this good.
That is a critical fail. That is a 0. So, as you throw your dart with all your might, the dart goes through his eye, out the back of his head, exploding the back of his head in this geyser of gore. He falls limp and just sort of flutters in the breeze and gets swallowed up by a cloud, never to be seen again.
I see that happen. I just like, ooh.
All right.
There is one left, correct?
Yes.
I'm looking at the fairy dragon stuff. I'll just have the fairy dragons. Are they small enough to like sit on my shoulders or head?
Definitely not. These fairy dragons in particular are large enough to support the weight of a full-grown kobold. These ones are far too large for it to rest on your shoulder.
Is there enough space for the ones that I freed so far to sit on Reginald?
Yes.
And not like impeding him in any way? Okay. Then I'll just have them come over and sit on Reginald.
Alright, they will fly over and rest on Reginald's shoulders, clinging onto one of the spikes on his shoulders.
Okay. And then we will end our turn.
Is Reginald going to do anything?
I guess he will take the dodge action.
Dodge action?
So,
okay.
Any attack rolls made against him will be at disadvantage. And since we're on him, I guess that also counts.
Yeah, if he's taking the dodge action and you're riding him, then you are also taking the dodge action.
Okay. Yes, that is it.
All right. You're gonna see the last surviving kobold pull out a scroll and start chanting on his turn.
Oh.
All right. You're going to see him wave his hands. An arcane circle is going to appear, and then this burst of arcane energy is going to shoot out, and it's going to dive and shoot left and shoot right and shoot up, making it very hard to track down. And it is homing in on you, and you see it dart forward directly for your head. But you prepared a dodge action, so make a dexterity saving throw with advantage.
Hold on. So you said that these were, you could call these missiles, correct?
A type of missile, yes.
Okay. Because monks have this great thing called deflect missiles. And you said with advantage?
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah.
It was.
Yes, Captain. That is a successful save.
Now, are you able to deal more than 10 damage with this attack?
It's 2d10, in fact.
Oh, okay. I get to roll a d10 plus 9 to track that damage, but I have to see your damage first.
You want me to roll for damage? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I take no damage, and that was a reaction. And if I reduce the damage to 0, and I do have a free hand, I will spend a key point and yeet the attack back at him. So that's going to be a ranged attack for me. So that's going to be a d20 plus 7 at disadvantage.
That is still a hit.
13 hit. Okay, and I think it's just my normal range damage, right?
This missile itself on its own does 2d10 on impact. So any modifier you would add to your ranged attack, you add to that.
Okay, it just says you can spend 1 key point to make a range attack as with a monk weapon. So with a monk weapon, for range, I think it's, yeah, my dart's a d4, but that doesn't change with monks for some reason, because they're not proficient with it. But if it's a monk weapon, it'd actually be a d6. Okay, that makes sense. So it takes 8 points of damage.
So he launches this missile of magical energy, and you can see this blue missile with turbine-style wings on the end, guiding it through. You lean out of the way, snatch it without looking, turn it around. There's like this rocket of force energy just shooting out of the background. You aim it at your enemy, you dial it in with pinpoint accuracy, and just let it go. Thwip! And it goes into his open mouth because his jaw dropped when he saw you catch it. It goes into his mouth and explodes his head.
I need to start playing monks more.
All right.
Yeah,
you can see the other 4 fairy dragons immediately bolt and get to safety, and you are out of initiative.
Alright, that is fine. I'm happy that they are fine, and I say a small prayer to the true dragon lords because they are better than Tiamat.
So as you take a moment to examine the fairy dragons, mechanics-wise, they have 1 HP left. You can take time away from your time-sensitive mission to take a long rest so that both you and them can recover. Or you can set them free, or you can take them with you and hope for the best.
Do they look like they could get back to my home village?
Easily. They are wounded, but their wings still work.
Okay. I will tell them where to go and where my house is, and I'll tell them to go there, and I will be back.
All right. They nod. They nuzzle their tiny little fairy heads against your arms, and then take off and fly into the distance.
And then, with that done, we head off again.
All right. So as you shoot off into the distance, you have evaded a siege weapon. You have won an encounter against a hit squad, and you are now you can see through the clouds this massive golden castle with spires punching into the sky, scraping against the clouds.
And I would like to say real quick, that entire encounter, I was rolling at disadvantage on my attack. So, meta, love ya, but I'm pretty sure you messed with the dice squad.
I did.
You watch our videos. Because, we always roll crap in every other group. Anyway.
All right, so as you approach the Golden Castle, you can see at the height of the castle, there's what is clearly a very large room at the very top, sticking out above the large golden walls. It looks like the primary room of the castle, and then below the walls you can see a closed gate, and you can see abandoned farmhouses and dead hay that has not been tended to in ages, just sort of growing on its own, unattended.
Do I know the history about this place at all?
So, you remember that the golden kobolds of old, the former rulers of this land, were all murdered in a great war against the black kobolds. Your group decided to go Swiss and stay out of it, and the black kobolds and the gold kobolds obliterated each other to the point where they both, basically, the gold kobolds were wiped out, and it was assumed the black kobolds were almost completely wiped out as well. So it kind of ended without a victor because of how bloody and horrible it was.
Alright, so, and you said this was 30 years ago?
Yes. The plague was 30 years ago. This war was 100 years ago. No one has gone here in 100 years.
Alright. So, I know nothing about this place because little old kobold me is 21 years old and just experiencing the world for the first time, basically.
You've basically only heard rumors and lore about it in whispers and people mentioning it. The scholars mentioning it, but you don't know any concrete facts about it.
All right. So when I look at what looks like to be the main room or bedroom or whatever it is, can I see anything in it just from my current standing?
Well, all you can see from your current vantage point is that there are about a dozen arrow slits. It's almost impossible to see directly inside, but it is very easy for anyone inside to see you take aim with a bow and shoot. So you have a couple of options. You can land nearby and try to sneak in through the gate. You can land in the courtyard where the hay is being grown and just see what happens, or you can directly attack the top spire and go and just see what happens.
All right. We will land nearby, and as I dismount from Reginald, I will look at him and I'll say, "You go home. Come back in 24 hours. I'll be fine. Don't worry."
Reginald looks at you like you're out of your mind. Or like, "Are you sure? Friend, you can't... It's a bad idea to go it alone."
But I'd be fine. Don't worry.
Bahamut bless you. You're braver than I am, sir.
I give him a little pat on his head.
Alright, he's going to crawl until he's out of view, flap his wings, and as he's just out of view, you can hear the crack of a sonic boom as he heads back home.
Alright. So I'd like to go ahead and start stealthing my way to the castle.
Roll with stealth because there's a wall between you and the rest of the castle.
All right. Just need to make sure that my particular type of monk doesn't give me anything. No, it doesn't. 16.
Alright, you're relatively confident that you are completely unseen. As you get to the wall, you have 3 options. You can scale the wall, you can try to enter through the sewers, or you can try to lower the drawbridge. And there is a gold drawbridge that hovers over a pit of molten, bubbling gold.
All right. So I know it's not the best to go with the drawbridge because everyone would hear that. Sewer would be unsuspecting, but they'd probably suspect at least one person's trying to get through there. And scaling the wall, little Granky boy ain't very strong. And I don't think he has any type of teleportation. Who? He will go through the sewers. As much as he hates it, he'll go.
You said through the sewers?
Yes.
Alright. As you enter the sewers, the grate is rusted, and with your bare hand, even being a weak kobold, it practically crumbles in your grasp, and you're able to just clear away these rusted iron grates and get in. And as you're able to get about 200 feet completely unopposed. And as you get deeper, you can see the rats are getting larger and meaner and more agitated, and you can see them like screeching at each other, screeching back at each other, and running away.
I keep moving forward stealthily.
As you move forward, you can see there is you are in a very tight sewer, and there is this massive fat dire rat blocking your path. It is asleep with about a dozen or so smaller rats, a swarm of rats, if you will, just sort of surrounding it.
That's a bad thing waiting to happen.
You've got a few feet of leeway above if you want to try to jump over it or climb over it, or there is a left and a right turn. It's kind of in the middle of the crosswalk, so you could probably if you killed it, you could easily throw it to one side or the other.
Well, I'm gonna do the sensible thing, the less dangerous option first, and try and climb over it.
All right. You're relatively stealthy. This limestone has softened in the presence of all this horrid, almost flesh dissolving waste. It is absolutely rancid in here, and it's weakening the walls. So your claws can actually penetrate the stone. I would like you to make an acrobatics check to try to climb over the dire rat without waking it up. All right, you were able to dig your claws into the wall and climb over it without waking it up and avoiding that combat. As you're walking through the sewer, you can hear talking above you in Draconic.
Kobolds, no Draconic.
You can hear them mutter to each other. We need more wooden prayer beads. Release the sickness. 20 people isn't enough. We need to bring down the whole kingdom.
I just think to myself, wow, these guys are rude. Rude.
So you get to a point where you can hear them chatting in the room. above you is a latrine, just a sort of like indoor outhouse, if you will. And you're looking up through the hole in the toilet, and you can hear them in the room as people are walking towards the bathroom.
Well, hearing that people are walking towards the bathroom and realizing where I am, I want to get out of there.
All right. So as you go deeper, it becomes quite a bit of a maze. You've never been to this castle before. It's been around since before you were born. There's toilets all over the castle in every room, and there's absolutely no rhyme or reason to it. I would like you to make an insight check to try to navigate your way to literally anywhere meaningful.
21.
All right. You can see that all of the tunnels, while there's no real rhyme or reason as they spider outwards, they do get progressively larger the closer they move to the center. And you're fairly certain some sort of throne room or meeting room or high-profile room is at the center of the castle.
You said that there was a throne room. I was getting to the throne room.
All the tunnels lead to one central point, and you assume that that point has to be like a throne room or a master bedroom or grand dining hall, some sort of large area where lots of people go.
All right, then I'll start going that way. Quickly but stealthily.
All right. You're able to quickly maneuver through the halls, but as you get into a almost like a trough where there's just lines upon lines of like toilets that all dump into one basin. There's nobody currently in there, but you can hear quite a few people talking in a room below. Do you decide to jump out through the toilets here or find somewhere else to come out?
I would actually like to listen in on the people that's talking.
You can hear this horrendously raspy voice growling and mocking what appear to be much smaller, weaker, higher-pitched minions. You can hear him go, "I have got the best archers in the world atop that tower. Anyone who tries to fly in here is going to get decimated with arrows. Poison arrows."
I just kind of laugh to myself and just be like, he's stupid.
The town, this horrible town, led by that weak, impotent fool Dragool, will fall to our might. We will have our kingdom. We will have our rule. We have our castle. Now we just need our slaves.
I just kind of roll my eyes and I'm just like, wow, is he compensating for something? And after that, I'll stealthily climb out the toilet.
As you climb out of the outhouse, you can see there is a you can go out as you are, covered in sewer nastiness, but there is also a hot bath, fresh, steaming, and unused to your right, where you could take a dip, if you so choose.
When I look down at myself, what color am I? Now that I'm out of the suit.
You know, kobolds of your kind are usually tan, earthen tones, but you're a little bit more organic than you'd like to be.
So I'm not black.
You are not black, you are brown, with streaks of green. You are head to toe covered in muck.
I just shudder to myself, and I'll take a quick small bath.
So, as you climb into the bath, you feel a sense of relief wash over you as all of this gunk just comes right off of your skin, which is where you hear heavy footsteps walking towards the bathroom and the door open.
Let me think. Does the door open inward or outward?
The door opens inward, so as they walk in, the door faces you, and they are on the other side of the door.
How quickly and how stealthily could I make sure I could grab all my stuff and kind of hide myself behind the door as he opens it?
Let's see. Well, the door is 60 feet away. You can dash as an action and grab your stuff as a bonus action. So yeah, you could definitely do that within 6 seconds. I would like you to make a stealth check to sprint, grab your stuff, and hide behind the door.
17.
You slither out of the water like a snake, slide on your belly across the floor, grab your stuff, and you stop a millimeter before the door as it's opened, and you can see the king in his royal robes looking straight ahead at the tub, disrobes, and starts walking into the tub.
I just kind of shudder and is he still looking away from me?
He walked right past you without looking at you. He's looking dead ahead at the bathtub, and he is currently 5 feet away from you with his back turned. You are stealth.
Alright, then I would like to sneakily go outside. But quick question first. Am I still naked?
You are currently still naked as the day you were born.
Alright, then I'll kind of put my clothes in front of my unmentionables, and then I will head out. Stealthily as always.
So you're going to leave the room.
Yes. Quietly.
All right. As you slither out of the bathroom away from the king, you can hear the king slosh into the bath and then go, "Ah! Smells like a sewer in the tub! Men! Who played this prank on me? Who shit in my tub?"
I kind of giggle to myself, and I try and find a small little closet that I can sneak into to put my clothes back on.
It's relatively easy to hop into a nearby maintenance closet, as all the people in the dining hall next door have left the room.
Alright. Then I'll quickly hop in one, and as I walk in, okay, so you know, this is a golden palace, right? And these guys just got done with having they just got done having a war with the golden kobolds, and so you know, they probably want to redecorate the place, right?
That's fair to say. Despite the castle originally being solid gold, you see red and black artwork plastered everywhere. Banners, paintings, everything.
Okay, so I'm in a storage closet, correct?
Yes, sir, you are.
Do I happen to see any black paint?
Oh, tons. There is a painter's kit in here, and then there's just 2 1-gallon buckets of red and black paint. You've got a painter's paintbrush, and then you've got a big wall painting broad brush to cover walls with.
Okay. Before I put my clothes on, I'm going to paint myself black.
Absolutely. Make a performance check with advantage just to make it look convincing. It's not terribly difficult to cover yourself in paint, but you're still doing blackface.
12.
All right, you are able to coat yourself evenly in black paint, but a little bit around the lips and a little bit around the eyes are still like your natural earth and tan color. You look like a horrendous blackface facsimile of a black kobold. From a distance, easily passable. Up close, probably gonna spot you right away.
Damn it. Could I use my alchemist supplies or my herbalism kit to try and help this?
What specifically are you trying to do with those alchemist supplies? Describe to me how you're going to use those tools to make your disguise better.
I would like to use them to make the black paint seem more of a black kobold skin tone. Because, these are probably like a flat, bland black, right? And, a black kobold scales are probably going to have a bit more of a sheen, right?
Yes, exactly.
So I'm going to try and use both my alchemist supplies and my herbalism kit to try and, perfect the black paint to make it look like a black dragon kobold skin.
Okay. I'm trying to think of what check that would be. I mean, if it's a alchemy kit, I guess that would be Arcana.
Right? Dirty 20.
So, you kind of close your eyes and just sort of envision in your mind what a black kobold looks like, while holding a paintbrush in one hand and a crystal in the other. And you have this black onyx crystal and this paintbrush, and you crush the crystal, dip the paintbrush in black paint and this onyx crystal, and just sort of powder it against your skin to give it that sort of glint, that glimmer that natural scales have. And you imbue the paint with just the tiniest bit of magical energy to make it look flawless. And you cover up your lips and your eyelids, and you look phenomenal. No one who's not looking an inch from your eyeball is going to notice you're not actually a black kobold.
Perfect. Now, as I've been traveling through, have I seen any other kobolds that, other than the king, of course, not have the red robes on?
Every single kobold you have personally seen, including the king, were wearing black and red robes with the symbol of Tiamat on the shoulder, holding the ropes together.
Right. So again, I'm in a supply closet, right?
Yes, sir.
They would store supplies, maybe some extra fabric or just some extra cloaks here and there, Is there any of that in here?
There is there's not a spare uniform per se, but there is a lot of fabric for banners. And the cloth of the banners is relatively simple to the cloth they use for their robes. So you could relatively easily cut a hole in one of the banners and just wear that.
I will do that.
All right, I won't require a check to cut a neck hole in a banner. I'll say you can do that.
All right, so I'll do that. I'll put my clothes on, put my now quote unquote cloak on, and I'll walk out.
All right. The only person in the dining hall at the moment is a what appears to be a maid, a female kobold with a broom, sweeping up underneath the tables, minding her own business. The king is cursing up a storm, and you see that he is angrily stomping out of the bathroom, and he sounds like he's about to raise some hell.
All right, so now it gets to the point where Grank has to think for himself. Why is he here? he knows he has to stop Tiamat somehow, but he still doesn't know how. Or at least that's what I'm picking up.
Well, you better figure it out soon, because the King of the Black Kobolds is about to stomp into your purview.
True. You know what? I'll go ahead and let him come to me. I think I have something planned out for that.
All right, the king stomps out, and he points an angry finger at you. You can see he's actually a fairly large and intimidating man, and he's put his clothes back on, and you can see he carries a ceremonial spear and a dragon skin hide shield with him wherever he goes. And he aims his spear at you threateningly, and he goes, "You there, minion! Who shit in my tub?"
I'll just like look really scared, and I'll be like, it was Kyle.
Roll a D100 and see if there's a Kyle. Kyle, that son of a bitch! I'll skin him alive for this!
And I'll just like point down the hallway and just like, he went that way.
You see him angrily stomp in the direction you point, to having not even hesitating to question who you are or what you're doing. He's so angry that he's covered in feces that he looks like he's about to murder Kyle. So it's currently just you and the maid alone in the dining room.
I should never be left alone in D&D campaigns. I will try and find my way to the quote-unquote throne room.
All right. Now, there's currently a banner over it to cover up this disgusting display, but you do see the edges of a castle map poking out from underneath a banner.
Is the maid still within view, or am I like completely gone?
The maid is still within your view, but she's currently looking down at the table gathering plates and not paying you any mind.
Okay. Then, keeping an eye on her, I'll look at the map and try and memorize.
So, there's dozens of rooms in this castle, but there's only a couple that really mean anything to you. You were in the dining hall. To the south is the barracks quarters. To the north is the throne room. And to the west, there are stairs to the basement level.
So, basement, barracks, dining room, and throne room.
Yes.
Which room is close?
The closest to you right now is the stairs to the basement.
Okay, and which one's the farthest?
The farthest by far is the throne room. It's like an acre of land away.
How long can I gather that about how long do I think I have until whatever's going to happen happens? From every like small little passing conversation that I had while traveling through the sewers.
Based on what tidbits you've been picking up from the soldiers, it doesn't appear like they're going to do anything today in particular. Everyone seems relatively relaxed in comparison. So you figure you probably have at least the rest of the night and then probably a day before they do anything. But beyond that, it could be tomorrow night. It could be a week from now. You have no information beyond that.
So I guess we'll start with with the throne room since it's the farthest one away.
All right. As you're walking through through this very large castle, hallways, rooms, galleries, closets, random people, there's way more black kobolds than you had any idea were still alive. As far as you were aware, they were driven to near extinction, but here they are, wandering around like it's a thing to do. I would like you to make a performance check to act completely natural surrounded by hostile enemies.
No.
So you leave the door of the dining room and immediately get stopped by the guards, and they'd be like, "I don't recognize you. Who are you?"
Oh, hi. Name Jeff. I new here.
New? What, were you just hatched? Where's your badge? And he slaps your shoulder where his little emblem is, his little symbol.
I'll just kind of look down, and look like, I don't know.
He puts his hands against your face and he goes, "You imbecile! Were you hatched yesterday? There's badges in the closet up ahead. Look presentable, why don't you?"
I'll just, with my head down, I'll say, yes, sir, and I'll head over to the closet.
As you walk towards the closet, you can feel the paint has been smeared. You can hear the guard walking away and then suddenly stop.
I dash into the closet before he can see me.
You can make an acrobatics check to move quickly, or a stealth check to evade his eyesight.
Stealth.
All right.
18.
He goes, "Hey Jeff, I think you got a little bit of the plague on you, Jeff." "Hey Jeff, newbie!" And he does not see you as you silently slip into the closet. You can feel that your paint is smeared, but it's not a lost cause. And there is a stack of religious relics in here, one of which is the emblem that everybody else is wearing.
Right, I'll pick that up and I'll put it on. Is there a mirror in here by chance?
There is not a mirror per se, but there are a lot of reflective surfaces with all these religious icons and relics that you can easily see your reflection in.
So when I look at the smear, how bad does it look?
You see 2 tan handprints exposed where the paint came off when he grabbed your face.
I'm a smart kobold, right?
I would say so.
So I think we could both agree. Okay. I would have been, smart enough to, let's say, carry a bit more of the paint on me, just in case if something were to happen.
I would say you were smart enough to keep a tube of the art paint in your pocket.
The special one that actually makes it look like I'm a black kobold.
I have no reason to assume you'd dispose of something that useful.
All right, so I'll quickly get that out and kind of just like try and blend.
Make a performance check with advantage since most of your body is already covered in paint and you're just sort of filling in the patches.
14.
It's not a work of art, but it'll definitely do. Nobody 5 feet away or more is going to notice.
Right. So with that, then I'll kind of like wave my hands a little bit to dry off the new paint on both where he put his hands on me and on my hands. And then with my badge secure. Does anything else in this room seem helpful?
There's a lot of incredibly valuable religious relics, like there's wood, onyx, emerald, ruby statues, some of Tiamat, some of noble warrior black kobolds that have, committed acts of valor, and just a random assortment of miscellaneous religious items that don't have any specific meaning that you are aware of.
So basically nothing that would make it seem like I'm not stealing.
It's most of these items are worth more than your house.
I mean, that's not really hard to do, though. So,
Very true.
is there, like, some small stuff I could probably grab?
There appears to be some doubloons, which is a currency that nobody has used in about 150 years. You might be able to pass it off to a collector, but they're fairly small, about palm-sized tokens.
Right. Is there anything else?
The only other small things in this room are onyx dice that appear to be for gambling.
Okay, I'll take the dice.
Alright, I'm gonna put you on pause because I gotta use the bathroom. I will be right back.